Hello guys, this is Ankur here and welcome to my YouTube channel Technical Analysis, the Unbiased View. So I'm back with another video after 4 months and I'll try to be more consistent here onwards. So this is a Nifty 50's 2 hour chart and this is spot chart, cash segment chart. To begin the video with, we are going to discuss three parameters right now which you are seeing on the screen as of now. So the first parameter is this trend line. And we all know that Nifty was respecting this trend line. Nifty made a top over here and then it went down and then again it took a resistance over here and again it came down and then Nifty finally gave a breakout of this resistance trend line, right? Simple. So it gave the resistance, the breakout of the resistance trend line. It retraced a little bit. Again, it took a pullback. It consolidated over here, right? I have eclipsed the important areas for the to ease the consolidations and the tops and the support level. So it took consolidation after the pullback. It retraced. It consolidated over here, and this is the top which it made latest. So after passing through this trend line, the Nifty broke this trend line, and Nifty again break down the same trend line. So this trend line becomes a pivot for us moving ahead for next week. As we all know that SGX Nifty is showing around 169 plus, and right now SGX Nifty is showing something 17,464. So I have marked that area already, 17,464. Hypothetically, let's think that market will open a gap up tomorrow at the same level, correct, which is 17,464 from here onwards. Now, the important areas, the first important area is this resistance trend line, which you can all draw in your respective systems. The second important area for us for tomorrow and the coming week is this area. Why? Because the latest high was this and the latest bottom was this. And if you see the entire trend, if you see the entire trend, the top and the bottom, Nifty took exactly the pullback or the support from the 50% of the Fibonacci, or you can say the 50% of the entire chart, right? So this was the top and this was the bottom. And recently, last week, Nifty exactly took the support from here only, right? So this dashed particular trend line which you are seeing is the 50% of these two areas, correct? 50% of these two areas, which is the latest high and the latest low for us. Now there is an interesting area which is getting generated now. This long resistance trend line, which was deciding the trend for the Nifty with respect to the support or resistance, either the market was taking a resistance and below this, or finally market gave a breakout. However, when the market gave a breakout, it made a M kind of a pattern with a negative divergence over here, with a negative divergence. So it could not succeed to, you know, breach this top. So then when Nifty broke this particular resistance trend line, resistance come support trend line, it broke with a gap, and the gap has been filled as of now, correct? So these are the areas which we have discussed so far. Now the interesting area what I was talking about is this confluence area. This is the confluence point between the 50% of this trend and this resistance trend line. So this resistance trend line and the 50% of the latest high and the latest low, we are going to touch the confluence of that particular area maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, right? On Thursday or Friday, depending on the trend. This is with respect to the trend lines and the price action and the area. If I plot 200 EMA exponential moving average on the 2 hour chart, you see Nifty dot actually closed right at 200 moving average, which is this area. You can see. correct? So if we see a gap, if we see a gap which is this particular horizontal trend line, so if it sustain for first 1 hour or 45 minutes, it means it is sustaining above the confluence of this area, correct? Above the confluence point of this area, we have to see that whether Nifty will make a uptrend here onwards beyond 17,464 if Nifty is taking the support and surviving above this trend line, correct? This resistance trend line. To showcase another thing, if we see cloud, Ichimoku cloud, the price is well below the cloud, and the you can see a wide open phase of the cloud. So the future Kumo is still not showing any significant symbol right now of a crossover upside, correct? So there are few hurdles. The hurdle is this confluence area, the hurdle that the price has to close above the cloud. So if price gives the breakout above the cloud and sustains above the trend line, then we can say yes, there is a possibility of sustaining the price above the trend line of this trend line. Whenever in the future, if we see the price is breaching and closing down below this trend line, I would recommend personally not to go long that particular day or on the closing of that particular day with respect to the BTST. Correct? Because again, the price is resuming below this trend line where you can see a sharp fall. There's a breakout, then again, there was a sharp fall. So, this particular trend line is now the pivot. And for upcoming week, right, this 50% is also another important pivot in front of us. So these two catalysts will decide the trend for us. Now, here we were not having any clear mark that how the trend would go, right? Now, after so much of price action and the development, we can say that we have a clear trend right now. So if I can plot, if I may extend this, and I may extend this, right? So I know that either the market at 50, on the top of the 50% or the below area of 50%, and whether it is like taking the support and moving above the 50% of this area, this top and this bottom. And until and unless the price is sustaining above the 50% of this area and it is taking the support and again taking a bounce back and closing above the 50%, those were the areas or the days where to go long with a clear cut stop loss, right? We know the trend shift. So this 50% of this top and bottom will treat as an important range shift. But the day, if you see the price is breaking down the 50% and closing below this particular trend line, then that is the day where there is no point of thinking that the price will take a sharp pullback again. Let's wait, let it close above the trend line, let it close above the 50%, and then subsequently we'll go for a long. If it is closing below this area, then we'll go for a short only. So this is the areas what we have to look forward with respect to the Nifty. Second, last, I would say, if you look at the RSI is also giving us a very clear indication of topping out and bottoming out. So if you see the area of 85, this area, this area, this area, this area, these are the clear signal of topping out in Nifty, right? And if you similarly see this area, which is 21, and this area, somewhere over this, somewhere very close to this area, this area, this area, this area. So here is where the Nifty is taking a support. You have to match with the price action. You can't go blindly on the 21 or 85. But this is the very clean signal what Nifty is giving us. And if you see 47, it is the range shift. It is acting as a support or resistance between 85 and 21. So if you see a closing above the 50% or Nifty is taking support and again moving up, those are the days where we can go confidently long on the Nifty. Or say for example, if you see the Nifty closing below the trend line and it is closing below 47, that is the again areas where we can confidently short with a uh, precise stop loss with respect to the individual's risk appetite. So this was my analysis on Nifty for a couple of weeks. Maybe it may sustain if the price keep moving in this area. Until and unless price is moving in this area, you can use this diagram, this drawing, and you can keep trading and plan your trading accordingly. So thank you guys. This was my quick analysis on Nifty 50. This is 2 hour chart again, just to remind you. So you can draw the similar things in your respective system and plan your trading accordingly. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.